starting soon. Just letting people find the video. Hello everybody, Tiffany here. Welcome to my quilting live. Today is getting to the 25 patch blocks still, because from last week I didn't do anything else. I just leaving it for the videos, that's all I'm doing. So, if you guys haven't been following along, that's fine. These videos will always be here. Same with the whole playlist of 25 patch blocks from the first block all the way until the last block. So yeah, that's it. Anyway, hopefully you guys could all hear me well, because I got the mic thing all figured out now, so it should be loud and clear. Welcome everybody. So as always with this, since last week I did this, I'm going to treat this as a regular video, not fully as a live stream. We'll still answer questions as I go, but to get things, going faster, I'm just gonna kind of skip everything else. So where I left off, and I think last week I probably said something wrong because I always do in every single video, but we took out 10 blocks that we didn't add anything to, because that's going to be down the right side. So there's 10 blocks that don't need anything on them. Yeah, I'm thinking right now, I think they need a bottom, but yeah, that's where these pieces come in. Anyways, and then there's 8 blocks. I probably said 9 last week. It's 8 blocks that are getting a right side and a bottom. 8 blocks are just getting the right side only, because the 9th one is 9 across, because it's going 9 across by 10 down. I'm probably confusing you all, and I probably confused you all last week, but my mind is not where it's supposed to be, and last week I was not feeling good, so I'm just tired today, so I can't think. So where I left off was I made all of the bottom sashing pieces with the cornerstones. Whew, those words just aren't coming to my head. And then I have all of my 8 blocks here. And that one should be in this pile. I don't know, whatever. I'll figure it out as I go. And we're going to start attaching these sashing pieces with the cornerstones to the big pile right here that has sashing on one side. So let me go to the cutting table so that you guys can see. Here's the stacks of blocks. I think this is 10. I don't know where I am. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that's the 10. And this should be 9 right here. 1, 2, 3, 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the 8th one. This was supposed to have a sashing on the side of it, because this will be the 9th one in the row of 10. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go over to the sewing machine and get started. I have my seam guide because I can't ever seem to sew a straight 1/4 inch seam. And I'm going to start with attaching this one on here, because this will make number 8. 1.5 inch. The sashing is 1.5 inch, and the cornerstones are 1.5 inch. And I'm using black thread here. And Scott, if you'll iron for me today. All right, so that pile is done. Now I need to attach.
Are you ready for the iron now?
No.
Oh, okay.
Now I need to attach one bottom strip. So however, which way I want my blocks to face, I need to put one bottom piece across the bottom of the 9 of the 10 blocks that are going vertical. Vertical is this way? Yeah.
Up and down?
Yes, up and down. So 9 of these are going to get these pieces are going to get across the bottom only, all the way down. So let's go back to the sewing machine for that. So I'm just going to put them across the bottom only. And they should be exact. They're 1.5 inch by 10.5 inches. Hopefully everybody's having a good morning. I was running late today because I am so tired that I decided to sleep. Like I said, it wasn't a guarantee that I'd come on at 7 o'clock in the morning. I could post a video for it to be live at 7 in the morning, but I definitely cannot be on to record a video at 7 in the morning. That's okay. I'm here now until we can get more of this done. Number 3, right? 3rd piece. Four. All I know is that I don't have to really count. I just not sew one piece because that would make 9 that I'm sewing this on. And this piece is a little on the wonky side. With my scissors right here. Just gonna straighten it up. It was weird, but it happens. It was probably from the fold in the fabric. And this is the last one for this. That one doesn't get anything on it.
Tracy likes your embroidered butterfly. Absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you. I love it too. Now, obviously, I didn't do any talking or anything in that video, but I really meant to have that butterfly land a little bit higher on the shirt, but it didn't, and that's okay. It still works, and it's still a good shirt. I only spent $1 on the shirt at Walmart because it was in a clearance bin that Scott found. So I had bought 3 tank tops, and I was like, well, I think I'm going to embroider one of them. All right, these need to be pressed, Scott, towards the black. All right, so let's go back to this one. Now I'm just going to go ahead and chain piece all of these to the bottom of all of these. So we're literally just going to be, and I don't care where they're going to land, they're just going to land wherever. I'm going to take one block And I'm going to take, this is going to be the right side, which would be, you know, if you're looking at it, it's the right side. One of these sashings with cornerstones, I'm going to put the cornerstone side on the side that the sashing is on, and I'm going to butt them right up. They should nest because I had Scott press all the cornerstones. Press the fabric towards the black on both the sashing and on this sashing. So it's not on the cornerstone, so they should nest right up. And then we're going to start sewing this whole pile just continuously.
Debbie and Senator Myron like your top too.
Yes, thank
All
you
over the
guys.
world like your stuff. This
I had
file's
fun
ready?
stitching it out. Yeah.
Or that file?
This one needs to be just this one piece and those. So you can see right here, the cornerstone goes on the side where the sashing is on. Okay. And then they were all pressed towards the sashing, and this was pressed towards the sashing. So your seams should be one direction and the other. So they should nest right up and be super flat. So I'm going to go ahead now and just start sliding all these through. I'm going to line up the opposite end. Just sew on down. Sew on down. So I'm just going to keep going. I don't care what cornerstone lands on what sashing piece. Just going to sew them all on. Continuously, one piece after the other. Kind of monotonous, but somehow, some way, you got to get it done. And I prefer to pre-build my sashing and cornerstones onto my blocks as opposed to making a long strip and trying to line up that long skinny strip. I find that this way works a lot easier. And you get a little bit more square of blocks when it comes to putting them together. I don't know why. It just happens that way. And it looks pretty uniform no matter which way you do it, but either way, you're still piecing it all. So that piece is kind of long. I shall make a little trim right here. Sometimes that happens. Trying to keep everything nice and flat as I go. So I'm making sure that the little lip right here on the machine doesn't flip a seam underneath, because sometimes it does that and it'll change the direction and then these won't lay flat. So it's very repetitive for this next step with all 80 something of these blocks. Huh? Hold on, let me give me a second. No. Scott's doing all the pressing for me. So what I'm doing is going to snip them away, and he can have them. Yeah, he can't read any questions right now. I didn't snip them apart. There's a pair of snips right here. Here you go.
Oh. What the world?
Pop the little top off by squeezing. There you go. Welcome everybody who's joining in. Just continuing where I left off last week by now sewing the cornerstone sashing to all of my blocks. On the bottom of every block that has a right side except for 8 of them. So I'm just continuing over and over. Yeah.
Files separated.
Yeah, the ones with the bottoms on them, keep them separate, yes.
Yeah, your corner filling,
Yep.
Here's your ones without. They go in this pile?
No, they go in a separate pile. Those are the bottom. They're on the bottom of the block.
You need me to write a note on here? Which ones are which?
No.
I won't remember.
I will, because the tag is clipped to the top, and those are on the bottom.
Oh, okay.
And I did not prep by rolling any bobbins, so I have no idea when I'll run out. I think I have one more bobbin with black. Welcome everybody joining. Thank you for your patience in my late stream today. Scott and I do have prior obligations, so I can't be here forever, so we're going to try to keep this at the 2-hour mark or less. So whatever I get done, I get done. Yeah. Some of these are really hanging over. Oh no, they had like some of these pieces, the black was like 1/8 of an inch or more hanging over. Yeah, another seam got flipped. So what happens, this lip on here, and if I didn't have the tape right here, that lip also flipped the seams. It's kind of annoying. But obviously I like to sew with the tray on the machine instead of the machine all by its lonesome.
Big will be.
Hold on, I gotta think about this. I said it last week. I think it's gonna be 98 by 108 or something like that. You know how big it's gonna be when it's done? It's gonna be as big as it ends up being. It's kind of funny. Because I don't honestly 100% know, because I didn't do the math. I'm just guessing by what I'm adding to it, and they're 10.5-inch blocks, minus the 1/2 inch for this, minus the 1/2 inch for that on the sashing, but add an inch. So I'm figuring 98 by 108. It could be a nice, for a queen size, even a king size bed. But I want nice hangover on my queen bed with it, so that's what I'm doing. What? Scott's saying, well, you already have 5 quilts for your bed already. One of them I don't even use because I'm afraid for the cat to make a mess on it. is my quilt called A Girl's Best Friend. It's the diamond quilt. I taught it a long time ago when I was in my bedroom sewing, and it was a quilt that I made four quilts from 40 fat quarters. And I still have 2 of the 4 quilts that I made from those 40 fat quarters. Let's put you guys back on the face me for a little while.
Why? Maybe they want to see what
That way you don't have to stare at the sewing the whole entire time.
maybe they like.
Oh, there it went. All right. Out. Oh, bobbin. Guess what I can just do is roll a full one, so I don't have to worry about half ones. Just roll a full one every time I run out of bobbin. Ah! Land there, please. Thank you. What house is it supposed to tie on the way down? Scott asked a very strange but curious for beginners who don't know nothing about a sewing machine question. He said, why do you need top thread if you have bobbin thread? Or why do you need bobbin thread if you already have top thread? You have thread. Well, here's the answer to that. Because the thread needs to tie to something on the bottom side. So that's why you need bobbin thread.
So you only use one thing of thread?
I know when you hand sew, you only need one. But in a machine, the needle goes down into the bobbin casing, pulls up some thread, and creates a knot that ties the thread to the bottom. If you only had top, then it would just be putting that top thread down, and it has nothing to hook to come back up.
Right. Yeah.
Nope, it wouldn't tie it. It would just sit. Now, they could make a machine where it ties it, makes a little knot, and comes back up, but then I think that would be really complicated and cost a lot of money. But no, you have to have bobbin and top thread for a sewing machine, because then you're not really hooking it to anything. The thread has to hook to something. It's not a dumb question. It's a very curious question for those that don't know how a sewing machine works.
Those of us that have never used the sewing machine.
Yeah. It's a valid question, though.
I've hand sewed plenty.
All right. I am rethreaded. Let's find where I landed off right here. I go about an inch above it. And sew. Do you like that seam guide magnet? Yes, I do. I cannot sew without it. I mean, I have on like triangle, doing triangles, half square triangles. I can sew without the seam guide. But in 90% of cases where I'm at my sewing machine without a seam guide, I don't know what it is. I've tried to line the fabric up with the tape. I've tried to just eyeball it and keep it at the edge of the foot because it's a 1/4 inch foot. I have tried so many things, and I, for the life of me, cannot sew straight. I end up with sometimes a 1/2 inch of a seam allowance. I don't know how I'm doing it, but the guide allows me to just continuously stay at a 1/4 inch. And I don't have to worry about my stuff being off as long as that guide is there. So yes, I love having the magnetic seam guide. I do have a foot for this Juki that has a built-in guide on it, but I seem to veer from that one too. So I decided to stop using that one and only use the magnetic seam guide because I still was veering with the other one. So, I mean, it doesn't stop it from happening. You actually have to be the one to line it up and allow it to do its thing. And I, for the life of me, just can't do that. I struggle. Since I have the shakes, maybe my eyeballs are just shaking or something. I don't know. It's just I don't see it. It's oblivious to me. Even just doing the same exact motion that I'm doing now, I still struggle. I don't know why. Very weird. Very weird indeed. They do make different seam guides though that are magnetic. They have I've seen some longer ones. I've also seen the seam guide that screws onto these machines because there's some holes on the plate, which actually I could show you that if we go back to the sewing machine. Right here, there's these two holes. They make like this little screw-in guide, and it has like a long, it looks like the front of this, but it's a long piece and it screws down here and you can adjust it to have the straight line land on any one of these little grooves in the plate. And they make that, but I never bought it. It's a separate piece that you can get, but I think the Janome and the Brother both have the option to hook one of those seam guides on. But the magnetic one works just fine for me, so because I can do the same of the holding fabric in place and I still mess up. So I'm definitely glad I have a magnetic seam guide. Here you go. Oops.
I like the dragons you embroidered.
Thank you. Thank you guys for all the compliments. I'm having a lot of fun with that embroidery machine. If you haven't noticed, definitely having a lot of fun with it. Oop, another flip seam. So this is pretty repetitive here, and there's a lot of blocks to attach it to. But there's 90 blocks. So that's what the holes are for. Just bought a magnetic. Yeah, that's what the holes are for. Is there's a guide that goes with the machine. The bigger hole though is for oil, and then there's another one over here on the side that you guys can't see. There's another oil hole. But yeah, those are for screwing in a seam guide, so you don't have to have the magnetic one if you don't want to. I think it's like $11 or $12, the one that screws onto the plate or onto the base of the machine.
What's yours?
I didn't order one, so my little magnetic seam guide was only $1. They're quite cheap. And they can be found at any shop, anywhere. Magnetic seam guides are pretty easy to get your hands on. Oops, I just totally messed that piece up. That's okay. It's within 1/8 of an inch of a seam allowance. That's fine. Oh, so much color in this quilt. Woo. It's gonna be very nice. It's gonna have so much visual interest. There's another. How are these pieces too long? I don't get it. What happened? Don't know what happened when I was cutting last week. I didn't feel good, so maybe that's what it is. That's funny.
It happens.
this block right here that I have on the sewing machine right this very second is the one I made using 5-inch squares on that Charm Pack challenge with Becca's channel. I know you can't see it fully, but it spins. That was the block I made a baby quilt out of, or wall hanging, that one of my lucky viewers had won during a drawing. Yeah, I already said it yesterday. I'm cutting them off as I go so that Scott can press them and get this done faster. It's always nice to have a helper. So if you can get a husband or a grandchild or somebody to help press while you're sewing, I'm telling you, you can get a lot more done with the help. Oops, same. Glad I catch those flipped seams pretty quick. Getting there, guys. Getting there. This is going to take a while. Yeah, Nancy, I do think I should have added the sashing as I went. But at the time, I didn't know how exactly I was going to finish this. I wanted it to be like super enormous originally and put 2.5-inch strips. But then I was like, nah, I think I'll go with 1-inch strips. Nah, I think I'll go with 1.5. So since my mind changed so many times, I just waited until the end. But yeah, if I was to do this again, I would definitely add the sashing each block as I went, except for the, ones that you have to pull out. No, I just cut them away from the machine. But yeah, for those that maybe you're going to do this late, I would say add your sashing as you're going. So I think it's like 71 or 79. I don't know. I don't remember the number pieces where it goes on both sides. It's only on the bottom of 9 of them and only on the right side of 8 of them. And I might be wrong on that too, because I'm just going by what I know in my memory of how I've assembled blocks with sashing in the past. When it's, an equal, a down, and a cross. Come on, line up to right there. That's where you nest. Stay! Stay, you evil piece of fabric. Sometimes I just don't want to go where I want it to. Welcome everybody that's joining in. You guys can use the commands too for stuff. The explanation point before the word help or anything. Explanation point for what before friends. I don't know. It'll tell you all the things under it as you learn it. I'm pretty sure the bot is working. Oh, the pile's getting low. Yay. Actually, I want to see. Should be working. Sneak away some more of these for Scott. There we go. I'm getting there, guys. This pile is getting low. It's a miracle. Huh? Nope. The next step will be sewing the blocks together. And like I said last week, I'm not going to care about the layout as long as my dog and cat are in the same row next to each other and my 2 birds are in the same row next to each other. Those are the only... No, I'm not laying it out. I'm just going to build it in here, right on camera. Only a few more left to hook together. Woo-hoo! And then we could start building it. This is going pretty quick. I guess once you start it, you know, continuously keep working, it goes quick. Well, if you're so fast like me, then it goes quicker. I'm all about the quick, fast, and in a hurry. Yeah, you guys all need to get yourselves a Mr. Iron Man. It could just be your 10-year-old grandson. You ask your 10-year-old grandson, hey, you want to be Iron Man for a day? Come on, I'll show you how. Okay, I had one left over, so that means I probably have something miscounted. But we're just going to start putting it together and go from there. Okay, here's your last pile, Scotty. This one has both birds and dog and cat in it, so just keep those separate for me. All right, now, next step. I don't know where I was. We're going to take this pile right here that has the cornerstones and sashing already built on. And we're going to go, let's see, that's for the bottom row. So this is the bottom row with the sashing only on the right. This is the right row with the sashing only on the bottom. And then the one piece that goes in that row is the last piece, like this. And this pile is the rest of the quilt. So we're going to take one of these I'm going to reach through and grab a second like this, and I'm going to put them, so here's my two pieces. Here, let's just go right here to the cutting table so you can see what I'm talking about. Here's sashing built with cornerstones. We're just going to start on row 1, and it's going to look a little something like this. We're going to go 1 block, 2 block, 3, and then 4, all the way until we get to 9. And then on the 9th one, we're going to take one of these blocks right here that only has it on the bottom and add that at the end. So I'm just going to randomly take these over to the machine, right sides together, and sew them. Okay, so we're just going to line them up. Now he's been pressing all these to the black, so I will flip this bottom seam to nest it. So we're going to start to sew it like this. I'm going to come down here to this bottom, and I am going to flip one of the seams out of the way so that they're going opposite directions, and then later when it's pressed, I'll just make sure that those are laying flat. So those are together now, and when I open it up, you should have your sashing just like this. That's what it should look like. So that's 2 pieces. So they'll be like this. So we're just going to keep going until we get to adding the 10th piece, which is at the end. I mean the 9th piece, which is at the end, that only has it at the bottom. Sorry. Here I go confusing y'all again. And I'm just going to flip this seam in my hand and hold it. And I don't care where anything goes again. Like I said, I'm just going to grab something and attach it. And then all of this is going to get pressed towards the sashing.
Oh, so you're going in the order that I put it?
No, I'm grabbing from there, changing it just a little.
Oh,
1, 2,
like
3. So we're going to grab a 4th, put it on here, and just continue over and over and over until they're all the way. So I'm going to sew a little bit. I'm going to grab this seam, nest it up. So now I have 4. I'm just going to roll this in here. Let me grab a 5th. I'm just going to keep finding things to grab and adding them. Come down here to the end. I'm just going to flip that seam and hold it. It seems kind of weird at first to flip and hold a seam, but I do it often. I did it while building the blocks too. Again, pressing it towards the sashing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to just go right here and put number 6. We're going to grab the next couple. 7, 8. And this will be number 9 right there. So I just have all my piles in front of me. And it's good if you have a knee lift to help. Well, for me it is, at least. I don't know about you guys, but.
Is this my file here?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're both the same.
Sounds good.
Holding this in place. press towards the sashing. Next. And the last piece is now the where we only hook the sashing to the bottom. No cornerstone or nothing, just a straight piece of sashing. Just gonna nest this, holding it with my finger until I can put it on the tray. And that gets pressed towards the sashing. So row 1 is complete. Can you hold this end for 2 seconds? So it's going to be this wide. Ow, I just poked myself. So you can see, super wide. All right, so I'm just going to put this on the floor for now, and we're going to continue with that same style.
You may roll it up for it.
No, they just sit right there on the floor. So again, we're going to take 8 of these, and the 9th one will be one of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I'm just going to continue that same process over and over and over again. Over and over. Huh?
Just 2 birds?
2 birds, a dog, and a cat.
There's only 2 birds. There ain't no dog or cat.
You're holding a cat right now.
That's a cat?
Yes. Turn it the other way. The other way. The other way. The other way.
You show me. I don't see a cat.
Ears, body, background. The dog is the dog is the same background, I think.
I found the 2 birds.
And every single one of these gets pressed towards the sashing. The iron, he's not using the constant steam iron, but it does let out steam every time he moves the iron. He's using the GE little iron. He doesn't like my heavy.
Squeaks replacement, but he doesn't stand up to Squeaks' ability.
Yeah, it's Squeak's replacement from my pile of irons.
He tried, but he can't handle the pressure of keeping up with Squeak. A little hard to try.
We tried to find another Squeak, but Squeak is not available anymore for purchase. I found one at the thrift store, but it wasn't getting hot enough, so it was, you know, not good enough to be Squeak's replacement. Yes, this is going to be a very nice quilt. Very colorful quilt. Oh, come on. Flip. There we go. So this will just be giving you guys a general idea of what it would look like if you sash your blocks too. And put them all together in a top. It's a beautiful sampler.
I understand it now, even as a dog. I don't know what you're talking.
No, I was saying that you don't use my constant steam.
It does constant steam.
No, my heavy iron, the one that I like.
Hey, the aminals are on this one.
Okay, thank you. And before I add that last piece, I'm also going to count to make sure that there is 8, because I probably didn't count very well, you know, because I'm rushing. I was trying to get as much done as I possibly can today, because I still want to be able to take this series one notch further by showing you how to long arm quilt it too. All right. Let's make sure that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is the 9th one with only a sashing on the bottom for the end. These together right here. All right, again, pressing it towards the sashing. So here is another row, which I can't hold the whole thing up. Like this. That. Like that. And for now, I'm just going to put the rows on the floor, and then I'll put them together. That's probably what I'll do next week, is start putting the rows together. That's row 2.
Will this go down the side and touch the floor?
Yeah, it should be a great 10-inch hangover on a queen-size bed. All right, row 1, row 2. All right, let's take out 8 of the ones with built-on side and cornerstone and bottom sashing. 2, 3.
I like the aminal ones. Gonna show them the birdie again, and the
Yep.
doggy, and the kitty. Those ones are pretty.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this one will make 9. I'm going to put that on the bottom. Put that there. And start hooking these together. And then the next row will be the 4th row down. So I'm going to add either my birds or my cat and dog. That way they are like seen like central on the bed. I want them to be noticeable. I do have a sailboat too in here. I wonder if that should go in like a row all by its lonesome too. That can be central to the rest of all the fun blocks. What else do I have besides a sailboat and a dog and a cat and 2 birds? Did something else. I thought I did something else at least. Huh? Right now. Okay. So I'm just finger pressing these as I go. Here was that block I was saying that I made into a baby quilt. Definitely don't have to just use these blocks for a big sampler. You can take one block and repeat it over and over again and have a really awesome quilt. I like it with all these different color cornerstones. It's definitely adding extra interest to this. Saying, hey, look at me, I have so much scrap fabric.
Same little pieces that are in it too, aren't they?
Yeah, they're little squares. Some of them have the same colors, yes, because the way I cut my scraps. And the even cooler part is a lot of these scraps, not just some, there's a lot of scraps here that people were sending me their scraps in the mail, and I was incorporating those scraps into making the blocks. So someone would send me, you know, scraps that say had yellow, and I had ran out of yellow in my 2.5-inch squares, so it was a good thing I got a box of scraps because I started using some of those yellows. Someone had sent me scraps that had some blues in it, and I used those in towards these blocks. So I mean, there's a lot of your guys' scraps mixed with my scraps that made this lovely quilt. There's a little bit of everything in here. There's leftovers from other quilts that I have made because I cut down the rest of the jelly rolls into 2.5-inch squares. You know, so there's a little bit of everything in here.
Did you do a heart block?
Yes, there is a heart note block. It's a heart with a note in the middle. It's actually kind of cool. It's somewhere in this pile. I also did the, what is it called? What is it called? Brain Think card trick. That's what this block is. It's a card trick block with exploding card trick though, because it's exploded. Come on. Come on, right there. There we go. All right, so this will be row 3.
Oh, do you want me to hold up then? Here.
So that's row 3. Just line it up just right, fold it and put it on the floor with the rest. So row 4, I'm going to add the bird blocks, I think. Yeah. All right, 2 birds. So we have 2 birds. I want them facing each other in this. So this one's going to go here and this one's going to go here. Just like this. But they're going to be in the center. So since I'm going 9, I want them to be the 3rd, no, 4th and 5th position. That's fine. So we need 1,
I don't know where the sailboat is. I
2,
wanted to show you that.
3, 4.
I really like the sailboat.
Okay, we're going to go to 4, which is going to be bird A, and then 5 will be bird B. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Is your cat and dog going to be in the same row?
Yeah.
The birds?
No.
That's what I meant.
7. 8. And 9 comes from this pile right here. And here's that heart note. It is a heart with a note in the middle. Obviously, my little tag kind of takes away from the part where it makes a heart, but that's the heart note. All right, let's put this row together. This will be row 4 with the birds. We'll do row 6 with the dog and cat. And then they'll be in the 7th and 8th position. No, 6th and 7th position, because these are in the 4th and 5th position. That way they're kind of catty corner from each other. Why not what? I could do that. It's not going to be in the center position because it's 9 across. We'll have to find it somewhere in that pile. Ooh, yummy! I'm probably going to have a bacon cheeseburger later. Maybe. Hope so. Like I said earlier, Scott and I have obligations today. Got to get to do those things too. Oh, come on, stay. There we go. What? I know you guys think it's nice that I don't gain any weight from eating all that I do. I can't gain weight from eating all that I do. I have, for those that are new to my channel and don't know, and you guys always hear me talking about eating bacon and stuff and eating lots and lots of junk food. Well, I actually have a stomach condition and intestinal condition that I don't absorb enough water, so my body doesn't ever gain any weight. And you're thinking, must be nice. Well, it's not really nice because it's a painful condition in my gut. Like, very painful. But my doctor says, eat whatever you want, whenever you want, and however much you want in one sitting, because he doesn't care. He wants me to keep up my calories. I don't eat as much as Scott does, but Scott works out, I don't. So, I mean, I do exercises, but that's it. Yeah. Did we run out of bobbin? Yep. We already ran out of bobbin again, so that's 2. One was not full, but 2 bobbins so far. Always has to land on that last piece. I definitely need to start emptying off some of my bobbins. I've been starting to start using the bobbins. You know, I have these. Like this has purple on it in the little bobbin buddy thing, you know. Has purple on it, but I don't want to use these colors with black sashing. I'd rather have black. I'd rather use black thread with black fabric and black sashing. Although I should use all the other, you know, threads, but obviously I'm not using them. So I have to take the extra time. I have so many full bobbins, though. I need to just get it done and used up. And the cool part is I did have some empty ones, but I stole them from this area and took them to the embroidery machine because my embroidery machine uses the same bobbins as this, which is cool. So now I have 8 bobbins for my embroidery machine, which if I needed more, I'd bring more. But yesterday when I stitched out that shirt, I only used 2 full bobbins and a quarter of another bobbin. That's it. I was very surprised. I thought that was going to be a lot of thread, but it took an hour and 15 minutes and only used 2 1/4 of a bobbin, which was kind of cool. Because it was very dense. There was a lot of stitching in that thing. Alright, about an inch above where it left off. Alright, so here is row 4. Yep, 4. Just gonna finger press this real quick. So it has these blocks in it. And obviously you guys will see the finished quilt has my birds facing each other. Alright, just fold this up. We're going to do row 5. We're going to hunt down that sailboat to put in 5 because row 6 I want the dog and cat. So somewhere in this stack is a sailboat.
Maybe you did it already. I didn't even realize it.
No, I didn't. Aha! Sailboat. So one.
Show it to him. It's Emily's favorite. She wants to see it again.
Here is the sailboat. And I used cloud fabric as the background fabric for this one, as the other pieces. So it's a sailboat in a storm. But you can make your sailboat whatever you want. And I used purple for my sails because, well, purple is my favorite color. All right, so if that's in position 4 and 5, right? I'm going to look real quick. I know I didn't want to like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yep. So the sailboat will be in position 5 because then 6 and 7 down in the next row will be something else. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll be 5. 6. 7, 8, and then the 9th one is coming from this pile. Actually, let's put the heart next to the sailboat. Oh, we can't. Can't do that. It's an end block. Darn. That's okay. Whatever. Here we go. Sew these together now. Yes, I did 2 blocks a week. But I did start this in 2019, making these blocks. And at first I was just doing like 2 and 1 and 3 and 2, you know, like it was kind of scattered and they weren't weekly. And then one day out of the blue, I started filming it instead and posting the videos. At first, it wasn't weekly either. It wasn't weekly until I got to what, video like 14, 15, no, 13, somewhere around there. Then I started posting them weekly, 2 blocks a week. Except for one video, it has actually 3 in it. Yeah, I started them on a Sew Sunday. Yeah. But all the videos are in the playlist, even the one that was missing. There's a video 7.5 because for some strange reason we couldn't find that video, and it was in a Sew Sunday as well, and I didn't name it that I was doing 25 patch, and I didn't know that. So I had to hunt that one down and put it in the playlist. I think I even renamed it too. Yeah. This is 3 years in the making. It's a long time. Well, for me at least. I think the other longest I've ever taken to make a quilt was, what, 6 months? 7 months, well, when Shirley was in the coma.
Oh, with the neighbors? Yeah, that took a while.
Okay, what happened there? I don't know. It didn't break. I knocked the thread out when I was finger pressing.
But that one you worked on a lot. That one took a lot more work. This one you just worked on once a week.
Yeah.
A big ordeal. That one took a lot. You had to order a special book, still wrong.
Yep.
That was what, Mariner's Star?
Mariner's Compass.
Mariner's Compass. Turned out beautiful, but it was.
Yeah, so it was a very complicated quilt. Okay. 2 more and this row will be done. And this one. Sorry I don't seem very talkative with you guys. I'm out of things to say today. All right, so this is row 1, 2, 3, 4. This is row 5 now. It's those.
There's the hard one.
Yeah, it ended up at the end. My sailboat. And that. All right. So that's 5. Let's do row 6. I just have them on the floor next to me because I doubt I'm going to get them done today. So I definitely want my kitty cat and my Scotty dog in the same row. So they're going to be, should the dog be sniffing the butt of the cat, or should the cat just be sitting behind the dog? I think the dog should be sniffing the tail of, yeah. That's, really? Yeah. Because you can see his head faces down like this and he's short, and Mr. Kitty Cat is just sitting here. So I think the Scotty dog should be sniffing Kitty Cat's tail. Wondering, are you a dog or a cat?
Okay.
So they're going to be in position 5 and 6. 1, 2. Ooh, we want this guy in there. I like this block. 3. 4. Oops. And that's 5 and 6. And we want 7. 8. And this is 9. There we go. I actually really like this block too right here. The way it like looks like a friendship star within like an iron cross type design. Yeah, all the blocks are, even the blocks that are just 25 different fabrics, because I had to show you guys how, you know, for a review of how the blocks are put together, because people joined in late over the whole process of this, and I was just reminding how to chain or web piece everything, you know. So I did blocks, just random by themselves blocks. I think there's 3 blocks that have 25 different squares in them. And I know I could have left those out and just put regular blocks in, but got to have somewhere for the eye to rest. I'm going to go around it with black with 1.5 inch by itself. And then I was thinking of taking more 2.5 inch squares and taking one of every single color that's in my bin of 2.5 inch squares and just making a really, really, really long chain and then go around the whole entire thing. I don't want a lot of border because I don't want this to be overwhelmingly big for my bed. We want it to be perfect size for my queen size bed, not way too big, because way too big will just cause way too much of the like with comforters and quilts and sheets. Even I sleep in my bed alone, and somehow, some way, all of my covers still manage to just fall off the bed on one side or the other. So if this is too big, it'll weigh too much and it'll just take everything off to one side of the bed. Right, time for a doogie, and then a kitty. Still making sure that I press my pieces. Way it lays somewhat flat. Okay. And then a Kiki. Doggy and Kiki are next to each other. Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. This is actually a pretty easy sew once you get used to the general way of how building the sashing onto the blocks and stuff. I think it goes a lot easier, and you don't have to. You can if you want to, but you don't have to lay anything out. You just start sewing. This is such a wild sampler with so many different blocks that it really doesn't matter where you put them, unless you want to be like me and have the dog and cat and the birds next to each other and stuff. But in reality, you don't have to really care where anything goes, unless you made your blocks a certain color maybe, and you want, say, all the blocks with red as its background in one row, orange as its background in another row. I mean, you can get so creative with these. The sky is the limit with these blocks, I'm telling you. So here's the next row. So we've got my Doogie and my Kiki just hanging out. And I think next week we'll put the rows together, because I won't have time for that today. All right, let's grab 8 more of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and
8.
My butterfly up there, that was made by Anita. She made that for me. She does pottery type stuff, or I don't know how to call it, but she made the butterfly for me and painted it and everything. So adorable.
I haven't seen her on here, but if she's on there, she did it.
Yeah. All right. Come on. Right there. There we go. They already kind of, because of all the seams, plural, in the sash, you know, in the block, they already kind of want to lay towards the sashing until it gets down at the cornerstone. Then that kind of wants to go towards the cornerstone, but finger pressing them is good before you iron. Oop, my threads are coming out of my thread can. I have this trash can that my daughter Alexa gave me with a T-Rex on it. And inside of it is filled with threads. It's already at the top, so now threads are falling out of it. I don't know why I saved the threads. I just, you know, I don't know. I just stick them in here, so they're all in one spot. Every time I do something and I need to dump a thread, it just goes in there. Keeps them from being in the trash can all at the same time. They can get single bagged, I suppose. I have one at the embroidery machine and one at the long arm. Not the trash can, though. Different things, but still same concept. Keeps the threads separate. And something, oh, it formed a knot up here. Every now and then, so when you just like, especially with this Juki, if you just put the pedal to the metal right away without like easing into your stitch, sometimes it will go so fast that it will knot the thread up here on the looper, which is the thing that goes up and down right here. It'll knot the thread on that and it'll tangle up and then it'll just yank. So they say to ease into your sewing with this, and I say that too. Although I don't listen to myself, but you're supposed to. And one more block for this row. I don't remember what row number I'm on. I think was that 6. This is 7, I think. I don't know. We're doing 10 of these. But row 10 is simple because there's no cornerstones to line up. Because it's just the sashing on one side. Okay.
Nancy said Fred's saying give me a break.
Yeah. So I really like this block. It reminds me of like an alien spaceship or like a flipped inside out kind of thing.
Good.
And I love this 4 pinwheel one, the 4 friendship stars. So many blocks in here that are like just awesome. They're all awesome, but there's a lot of them that when I drew it up, it was a lot different looking. But as soon as I started sewing them together with all the different fabrics, it was like, wow. 1, 2, 3.
Danny says you have the tearaway stuff. Put your threads between 2 sheets and sew a bunch over it. Wash away and made fabric.
6.
Okay.
7. 8. And 9. Hold on a second. That's this last one. There should be 9 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the 9th one is bottom only. No, it's not. It's supposed to be nothing. That's why there looks like there's too many. I got to rip that off. I knew there was one out for a reason. There he is right there. That goes on the end of that. 2 of these go here. This one's going with this. I'm taking a second, guys, to make these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ah, there it was right there. I knew it. One of them was missing a cornerstone. That's where that piece that was all by itself. I knew I had the right amount. Okay. I'm not even going to bother pressing that. So that makes 8, and that makes 9. And then these go together because those are the ones that are only on the side. All right, so 3 more rows left to stitch. I knew I'd find the piece though that for the one that was just sitting here because I knew I made exactly enough last week. I wasn't that far off with my brain that day. I may have been sick to my stomach and not thinking clearly, but I knew that I wasn't that far off. It's easier to press them like that. I also like this block. I don't know why I like it. I think it just like reminds me of some kind of like Celtic knot, the way it swirls around. It's like the way they wrap, you know?
Yep.
I like them all. Thank you, Kim, for all the thumbs up reminders.
Black borders really make fluff.
Yes, they do. Come on, stay flat. Thank you. Talking to the fabric like it knows how to listen to me.
Yeah, well, we talk to the cat like he knows how to listen too.
Yeah. Some of these I could sew really easily because all of the seams are facing downwards, so I don't have to flip anything on the way, and I don't have to hold it down.
I was sleeping, Mom. Daddy woke me up. I was sleeping in a chair, kitchen table, because I want to be like human.
Yeah. So he likes to sleep at the kitchen table. I don't know how you guys' cats are, but he likes one of the chairs under the kitchen table. So he'd been laying in that same chair forever. So one day I decided, because that chair was just, every time we had company, we had to vacuum it so that people can use the kitchen table. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to make a chair cover for that chair. I make the cover. He uses it. He uses the chair. And then he gets shaved just recently. And now he doesn't want to lay on his chair with the cover anymore. Now he wants to lay on a new chair. It's like, seriously, cat? He can't make up his mind what chair he wants to be his. And I don't really want to make a cover for every chair, because either way we'd still have to take them off and vacuum them or clean them when we have company. So it's like, why won't you stay on the chair that was, you know, meant for you with your cover on it? But yeah, he's a weird cat. As soon as you change that one aspect of their favorite thing, bam. You move furniture around in your house, especially here. If we move one thing out of place, he freaks out. He's a weird kitty. But yeah, so he got shaved, and now he doesn't want his, you know, covered chair anymore, which is weird. Come on. All right. This is row 7. No, 8. This is row 8.
Well, Kim taught some of her friends into subscribing to your videos.
Awesome.
Started quilting after watching some of your videos.
That's fantastic. All right, 2 more rows to make, and then I will get off of here and then put the rows together next week, because again, I have prior obligations for today, so I still have to get ready and stuff. But next week I will come on and put the rows together. The only thing that I'm going to do between videos is I'm going to go ahead and press each row so that way they lay super flat and not just finger pressed, because of the, it's not that I don't have a big enough ironing board. I would just rather them be super flat so that when I finally do get all the rows put together, I can quickly press it, just the attaching of the rows. That way I could show you guys and be done, you know, with that, or add the border or whatever it is that I'm going to do. I'm kind of dragging this series on just a little bit because, well,
you're not dragging it. You did get my through.
No, I mean I'm dragging it on with videos. I'm probably going to stop at like 50 because maybe by then I'll be at the long arm.
Well, you said you wanted to see how you long arm it too.
Yeah.
Teach them long arming. And even though you have a zillion binding videos, people always ask you all the time for another binding video.
So I'll probably drag this on. And the reason for that is the next series that's supposed to be after the 25 patch blocks. I technically haven't finished designing it, so I don't know all the fabric requirements and stuff yet. I'm getting there, just, you know. I'm not going to start something until I know for a fact, because it's not going to be like this. It's going to be something totally different. Just not there yet. I'm a one-man show. Can't do too much.
Dale says if you want the best seat in the house, you'd have to move the cat.
Yeah. Yep. And he likes to lay on all the spots we like to sit. He wants to be right there. Says, you're not allowed to sit here. This is my spot now.
Warrior says they use a hockey puck to absorb the vibration of compression in the dental office. Maybe you should use that embroidery machine. Never thought of that. Hockey puck.
To absorb the what?
The vibration.
Oh, interesting.
Never thought of that.
Yes, I had fun with that tank top yesterday.
Know how you are.
I am good. I'm just tired today, honestly. That's it. I didn't sleep very good last night. That's all. That's it. Other than that, I'm good. No real troubles. Well, I mean, they're there, but it's a daily thing that I ignore by doing this. This is the best way. I don't know what it is about making quilts. You'd think that it would be even worse, like if you have back problems or leg problems like me. You'd think that sitting here for long periods would make that worse, but it really doesn't. I totally forget about anything. It's the weirdest thing what this does. It's definitely 100% therapy. Alright, that was the last block for that row. I don't know why that is not facing the correct direction. No, I do not. Alright, so, ow, I just poked myself. Alright, here is row 9. The last row, I don't have to line any cornerstones up. Just piece them together. Oh, there was a basket too. Maybe I should have put the basket. I forgot about that. There was a basket as well. Maybe I should have put the basket up at the top. I forgot all about that.
You're saying your basket case, because that ain't true.
Okay, so these I just connect one right after the other. And then this will be row 10. So these are those 9 that I separated. And only put sashing on one side of all but one block. And again, like I said, the only thing I'll do off camera is press all these rows flat so that next week when I put the rows together to make the top, that everything's nice and flat before I do it, just to help it go along faster, smoother. And if you make the 25 patch blocks from the series, also remember, if you don't want to make a queen king size quilt, you don't have to. You can just take 36 blocks or 42, make 42 blocks and make, a smaller quilt. A good lap size will come from 42 blocks. Because it's just like hooking 10-inch squares. So if you take 10-inch squares and hook them together, a whole, 42 piece, 7 across by 8 down, 7 by 8 is what, 42? 7 times 8?
56.
Oh, no, then it's 6 across by 7 down. So yeah, makes 42. Then you get a lap quilt out of that. All right, last piece, and that's the broken dishes block. That was from the beginning. He gets the bottom corner. All right. And there it is, row 10.
That's awesome.
There's that.
Do you want me to hold the other side?
No, it's fine. All those. And that one. So all 10 rows now just need to be ironed.
What size borders are you going to add all around?
Hold on 2 seconds. Let me pick this up so you guys can see. There's all the rows. So literally all I have to do is hook all the long seams of these and bam, it's a quilt top. I could stop there or keep going. What did you say?
What size borders will you add all around?
So I'm thinking to go, see, I didn't want the cornerstones around the edge. I was thinking taking the black with a 1.5 inch and go around the whole entire outside perimeter. Then I was thinking of taking my because I built these 2.5 inch squares from 4 bins of 2.5 inch squares. And when I say a bin, for those that didn't see this whole entire time, like if you guys are just new to my channel watching this and haven't caught up, I have 4 boxes. Let me change the view here so that you can see. Right there. I have 4 of these tubs. These are shoebox size. Do you see that? That is all 2.5 inch squares, and there's 4 of them, and they are all this full. They're so full that that's how much hand I can get in here. They are just super full. And there's 4 of these. One is all solids. The rest are all colors. So I was thinking of taking one from every single color that's in here and making a big, long chain and just go all the way around the quilt after with this and then finish the quilt off. That's it. Just with this. But we'll see. I'm not sure if I really want to do that yet or not because it is a lot of extra work. But if I do, obviously you guys will go along with it with me. So, but here's all the rows. They're all ready, and I left all the tags on in case you guys wanted to know what block from what video, but obviously once I put the whole thing together, it won't matter anymore.
Not really, no.
No, so there's that. Those are ready for next week. Does anyone have any questions other than, you know, finishing off the borders? I mean, I could also do the black all the way around with the 1.5 inch and then do the 2.5 inch strips and then take a 2.5 inch of black and go all the way around that just to seal in all those seams from the 2.5 inch squares. Because I still want to utilize, I wanted to utilize more 2.5 inch squares into the border. And I've been cutting more the last couple nights. I've been doing some more cutting of making my own pre-cuts. So I definitely have more to my stash. And if you could see over here on the ironing board, there's more. I've been going through the scraps that everyone's sending me and chopping things down. I know I need to do a video on that. I haven't yet, but I will get to it sooner or later because that has to be done during the day. And I've been doing these at night to get myself tired enough to go to sleep. And last night, my son changed my blade in my Martelli cutter for me. He wasn't sure how to do it, but he figured it out, and he cleaned the whole thing out for me, and the fresh blade made such a difference last night when I was cutting pre-cuts. Anyways, I'm going to get off of here and get ready for my, you know. Yeah, I'm not sorry. He won't turn into a quilter. But if you guys didn't know, Cyrus has made pillows before here on my channel. My 16-year-old son. It was back when he was, what, 14? He was in middle school still, I think, when he made them. But he made stuff, and it could have been his freshman year. I don't know. Whatever. My son has made stuff, and it's here on my channel somewhere. It says Cyrus makes pillows. It was a Valentine's Day thing or something. Anyway, so that's it. I'm going to get off here, and I will see you guys next Wednesday for this stuff, putting these together more next Wednesday sometime in the morning. Again, I can't guarantee the time, but it'll be sometime in the morning. And there's videos throughout the week that are just going to pop up. Hopefully you guys like all those. And that's it. That's all I got. So bye, everybody. And I'll see you, yeah, whatever, next week. Bye.
Bye. Good night.